Thank you, Professor Faiz Abdullah. I would like to thank ISIS Malaysia for having us here today. It's always nice to have some honest exchange of ideas between friendly countries and people, and I think Turkey and Malaysia have a real special relationship when it comes to emotions and feelings and closeness. And I hope these interactions can contribute to concrete synergies for both countries. And beyond our two countries, I think there are a lot we can do for the rest of the world together, inshallah. Um, at Ibn Khaldun University, which is a social science research university in Istanbul, with only about 2,000 students currently, established about 10 years ago, and we have more than half of our students, graduate students, because of our focus on research. We try to contribute to raising social science and humanities intellectuals, because there is real lack of bright minds going into these fields nowadays. In Turkey especially, we find the best and the brightest through their parents, through their school advisors, being directed into medical studies, engineering studies, computer sciences, whatnot. And there's a lack of some bright minds trying to get a handle on problems facing humanity. That's why I think in Turkey at least we are trying to contribute to having more bright minds become researchers and faculty and scholars in the field of social sciences, so that we can sort of try to talk about these issues facing us, the world. I mean, now, when is the last time we had a good idea come about and affect big societies, big, number of people? So last year we had an event that goes for about 4 or 5 months. Every weekend we gather undergraduate students from different universities around Turkey. About half attend face-to-face and another half attend through Zoom meeting. And we talk about a theme so that we can attract these young people about graduate studies, about scholarly work. And the theme was very interesting. It was called Diluted Times. And I told the colleagues who are designing this, what are you expecting people to understand from these two words, diluted times? What do you mean? And they said how many of the values that makes us human are diluted in these times. Patience is diluted. We are no longer patient. Respect is diluted. Respect to your parents, respect to your teacher, respect to your politicians and government officials. Respect for institutions is diluted. Respect for our religion is diluted. We are more snob in our even dealing with our belief system. Quality is diluted. People don't give a lot of effort into what they make in terms of the quality and sustainability of it. Um, we are less serious even. We have politicians in the West without ties anymore. I mean, it's not that I like this very much, but it was at least it was at least a sign of respect for what you do, right? Okay, you do whatever you can do in terms of your looks and your seriousness. That is diluted, and compassion is diluted. I mean, people are increasingly less and less compassionate about each other, and individualism prevails. And so we are really living through these diluted times, and it doesn't give a good signal about our future, our humanity's future, and that's not very. I mean, it's very. I think what we are going through becomes more normal when you think about these things. That we have more instability, we have more wars, and we have genocide, and online and live and everything. And we have, as Professor Faiz just noted nicely, the rules-based order is upside down or no longer, whatever you put it in a way. And Turkey, in these diluted times, I think has a claim due to its heritage and history and background to achieve some change, bring again some seriousness, some quality, some compassion back to the worldly affairs. And obviously, it didn't happen out of a vacuum. I mean, with the coming to power of AK Party governments and my father in 2002, we tried to reconnect with our heritage and past, because the Republic in 1923 was founded upon a denial of our past, a disconnect with our culture and heritage and identity, and it really put us in an awkward position socially, and created many fault lines politically, sociologically, in many dimensions, created many issues for us. That's why we had many coup attempts, we had many internal strifes, we had difficult foreign relations with our historical, neighbors, and what we call the geography of the heart. We have a word in Turkish called gönül. Gönül is technically heart, but heart in a very emotional and romantic way. So it doesn't have a real English translation. We call it our gönül geography, which is the lands and people that we feel emotionally close, that we love. And Malaysia falls in that gönül geography, I am glad to say. And so we have reconnected with the Balkans, we have reconnected with the Middle East, we have reconnected with the Northern Africa, we have reconnected. I mean, during our War of Independence, after this First World War between 1921 1923, we had people from Afghanistan sent us their gold, from Bukhara sent us their gold, so that we won this war against the Greeks and the European powers, obviously. And so we now turned our face back again to these people, to these masses who supported us during our difficulties, but then we sort of turned our backs to them in this claim of becoming westernized. And in the end, we realized we were westernized only by the looks, but really in terms of science, technology, scholarly work, we were left behind. In industrialization, we were left behind. So again, to come back to 2002 and AK Party governments, we had to start by reconnecting and really gaining again that historical depth that our history and our heritage brings with it. And it's obviously taking time. Not all of our population still identifies with this story. It's a challenge, but I think increasingly nationally this is becoming our normal, because I think it is the normal. And so this sort of puts us in a central country position in the world. We call it a regional power sometimes, but really Turkey as a country that can claim authority in its region and in the world. And we see how this is reflected in our president's claims to the world being bigger than five, protesting about the UN system. And no other country is making an issue out of this, if we think about a sizable country like Turkey, and claiming that a fairer world is actually possible, and Turkey being one of the highest givers of humanitarian aid in the world in terms of per capita spending and percentage of GDP. So Turkey is claiming some things verbally, but then putting its money behind it, so to speak. So we have these diplomacy tools, institutions like Turkish Cooperation Agency, which is our development aid agency, our diaspora agency, Yunus Emre Institute, even our NGOs who are big givers of humanitarian aid, and it's not actually uh, it's very grassroots, by the way. Not the rich people of Turkey are givers. It's really grassroots. It's really the middle class and who are giving. For instance, Kurban is coming, the Eid of Adha, and only the Diyanet agency, Diyanet's foundation, Vakıf of Diyanet, the religious affairs authority of Turkey has a foundation. It's a global Vakıf. Last year, they have collected more than 600,000 cows for the Eid globally in different countries. So it's a huge effort supported by our population. And of course, you have to build on that some tangible tools to be effective. And the defense industry of Turkey plays an important role in that independent action, because I think the Western powers really foresaw a role for Turkey to be acting in line with their strategic goals and sort of falling behind their actions. But Turkey in the last 20 years increasingly is making its own her own decisions, deciding her own, charting its own path. And the strength of the defense industry is very crucial in that, because 25 years ago, Turkey used to purchase defense industry equipment more than 80% from abroad. Now it's less than 20%. It's a dramatic change. Turkey can now build its own ships, build its own submarines, build its own air defenses, its airplanes, and Turkey is now one of the top 3 powers in the field of armed drones. So these platforms are also adding that to the dimension, making it more tangible. And Turkey is sharing this defense equipment and industry with friendly countries, as opposed to the way Western powers use their defense industry. Turkey is really sharing that very generously, I must say. And also constructing Turkey as a knowledge diplomacy hub globally, with constructions like the Antalya Diplomacy Forum, or Turkey has become a real venue for these international meetings because of its location, because of its ease of access, because Istanbul being the best connected city on earth with its new airport. And because everyone can still come to Turkey, whereas you cannot go to London, some people cannot come to New York, some people cannot go here and there. So this is also complementing that central country role of Turkey in the global affairs. And obviously, the contribution to this idea of the middle corridor, because Turkey claims to be a better alternative to all the other options where you have more complications. And of course, that needs a lot of investments into infrastructure for transport, infrastructure for internet corridors, and investment into the computer industry, etc. Let me stop there, and then we will continue with the questions and answers, give more time to making this a transactive sort of exchange. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Excellency Bilal. Yeah, thank you.